Hey everybody, I'm Morgan.
And this is Ryan.
And we're talking Chitty.
What's up, everyone? This podcast is brought to you by thecrabshomestead.com,
where I blog about our life, homeschooling, homesteading, traveling, DIY tiny life hacks. You can check out our podcast on there, and you can also check out our shop.
Don't forget about our Poshmark closet. We are second chancers, that is to indie chancers. We have band tees, sports jerseys and apparel, single stitch vintage shirts, Ralph Lauren and Tommy Hilfiger polos, cool kicks, antiques, and collectibles. We just picked some 1940s Pennzoil motor oil cans that still have the original oil in it. The original grocer's 69-cent price tag is still proudly displayed on top. Stacked and displayed, they remind me of a Fallout 4 prop. They spruce up any man cave, she cave, or bar and bring you back to a simpler time. Or just appreciate the fact that these are no longer made.
Man, it's been a while.
It has been a minute. So, I mean, how many podcasts? 5, 6, 7, 8?
Something like that.
Since it's just been you and I.
Who?
Finally got you alone again.
All to myself.
Uh-huh.
I always like having like the microphone in our headsets because I can hear everything that I'm saying while I'm talking, and I like to do ASMR like.
That's horrible. When you did that with your hands, you looked like Jonah Hill on Get Him to the Greek when he was listening to the Pixies song.
Pixies?
Yeah. That's how your hands just were. It was
I felt
awesome.
like that.
So yeah, I guess, we wanted to talk about old DTS. We haven't heard about DTS in a while.
Yeah.
And
Updates.
wasn't forgotten about. It was just I guess shelved or abandoned for right now. After trying to negotiate with these manufacturers, the numbers didn't add up. They were trying to sell me something to where I would have to sell this item at like $90, and then they were an active competitor and they sell it for $60.
Mm-hmm.
And so every $250, every $5,000 that we were going to spend, we would have made like $250. And I'm like, nope, that's hot garbage.
There's not enough
numbers
meat
don't add
on
up.
the bone for that.
That's just not worth my time.
No.
That's just beating your head against a wall. I mean, you're going to go nowhere. So.
Especially when you're competing against these Chinese manufacturers that can set the price pretty much anything they want.
Yeah.
Like they could do it as low as you want to. So, but yeah, it's not totally abandoned. In fact, we've used those negotiating skills because of that.
Oh my gosh, yes. Yeah, it wasn't like necessarily a bad thing.
We learned.
Was just, we were able to adapt and overcome, and we used those skills and that knowledge to what we do now. So
just remember, you guys, don't be scared to put yourself out there and try something.
Yeah.
It's not always going to work, and who
Most
cares?
of our stuff doesn't work.
And people call it a failure or whatever. I just call it a learning experience, and you build from that and you move on. And we knew that wasn't the end of it. We knew there was something missing. Like, we also were going to do Wooby robes, and then our seamstress ended up having a lot of life circumstance, and
that was going to get attached to DTS to kind of help launch these other products, and then so it all just
kind of fell through. It just didn't work out.
Sometimes some people say, "Oh, you got to work it. You got to work it." No, I get that. But there's some things that you just have to or I think of Mr. Wonderful. He's like, just take it out back and shoot it.
You need to make money.
Yeah. But we were literally going to make hundreds of dollars. But yeah, no, it really started to, everything, we were drowning in opportunities with it in the beginning. And so, we just kept seeing where it was going to go.
Worked it out.
And then all of a sudden it started slowly unraveling. The more strings we started pulling, and by strings, it's just asking questions. The more questions we asked, the more information we received, and the more we were able to calculate our numbers. And then we realized at the very end, I'm going to spend $5,000 to make $250. That is awful.
That's terrible.
So that's just not something I want to jump into, and I don't want to compete against the person that gets to set the prices.
Right.
And yeah.
And you had all these tariffs going on with Trump. There's a lot of trade issues going on too. So the shipping itself was also kind of ridiculous. And
up 15%.
That's a lot. And it's by weight.
Yeah.
And if they can send it on a plane or a ship or a cargo, you got to worry about the importation taxes. So basically, we haven't abandoned it because everything we learned, we can also apply.
And we've still
anybody
been
else.
using.
And we have been using. But
Yeah.
you can also apply to if you wanted to start an Amazon business and you find a trend and you want to purchase from a large corporation. We've
been meeting a lot of Amazon sellers recently.
We have. And I'm excited. We actually will have some people on the podcast that are Amazon sellers that we're actually buying some products from and we're waiting to get in. And we'll have them on too. But basically we're sharing all of this with you guys because we want you guys to see that, hey man, they're talking about doing a lot of stuff, but it doesn't always work out.
Nope.
But we do pick the ones that are working out, the ones we're happy doing. First off, that's number one. Our main rule was it's not going to be work if we enjoy doing it. So, but the DTS led us to, and my Cannababe, my CBD stuff, I haven't abandoned that either. I'm still very much a big believer in CBD. I just haven't found a company that I want to attach my name to.
What is it? The sales team? You're having
I'm just having
issues
some
trying
trouble.
to get them.
Give me some information. Like they want me to talk to them, and I'm like, dude, just email me stuff. Like I'm
so busy
because I can never. Well, every time I call and leave a message, like we've just been playing phone tag, and I don't like that. And because I'm not getting a good vibe with that, I don't know if I want to put my money into that company.
Well, because everybody's pushing CBD right now.
Yes.
It's like,
what's the quality?
I don't want to just push something to everybody. It's something that's going to help them, benefit them.
And I do not want to be a brand ambassador and get points. I could totally do that, but I don't want
money.
To do that. I want to be the one doing it. I don't want to push somebody else's product. But I will say this, and I will recommend for anybody listening that is following. I'm still posting Cannababe sporadically, news updates, things like that. Because guys, we are in the marijuana prohibition with CBD becoming legal and stuff. You guys, prohibition back with alcohol and stuff, that took a while too. So we are witnessing history, and knowledge is power on this. So feel free to share on my Cannababe page too for that. That's open for everybody to share. But I will recommend, first off, hempmeds.com. They have a good price. They've had good test results. And you can get a decent amount of CBD oil. I always say stay away from flavored oils. I feel like it's an extra additive and you don't need to do that. The other company I'll recommend, Young Living is actually partnered with, which is why I really like them, is Nature's Ultra. They're just a little pricey. Unless you become a Young Living distributor, then you do get a discount. It ends up being the same price as Hemp Meds. But they don't.
It is Hemp Meds, correct?
No, that's different. That's a totally different company.
But the manufacturer of that. Or is that a manufacturer?
No, they're their own manufacturer.
Okay.
But yeah, so those are the two companies I would definitely recommend. I like their the wholeness, the lab reports, everything. So
and those are both manufacturers of
and sellers. Yep.
Yeah. So understand, guys. There's a lot of people that are selling CBD, but there's not that many manufacturers.
Right.
So just think of it like I don't know, people who smoke marijuana right now in an illegal state. Just think of how drug supply works, right? There's one manufacturer of this, and then you just have all your foot soldiers out there pushing the product. But it's the same exact product.
Yep.
But, that's it.
The company you're talking about is actually Canaway. They're pretty pricey, but they actually are a sister company of Hemp Meds. It's the same product. Hemp Med sells it cheaper, and you don't have to go through a brand ambassador for it.
Yeah, people are just finding the manufacturers and going straight to the supply. So,
but that's what's up with that.
And then they put their name on it.
These are businesses we've been talking about all year, and we've literally developed from that. If you guys follow our social media, in fact, doing all these last podcasts we've done, it was all about PTSD. We got to chat. Hopefully you guys listened and learned some stuff about soldiers and some badass combat infantrymen and how
way too much drinking involved.
Lots of drinking. We've had to take a break from the drunk podcast. Livers are being damaged, so we need to.
It was tons of fun, though.
It was a blast. We had a lot of back-to-back ones, and we were able to push out, hopefully, some good content for you guys. And
actually got me talking to some people I haven't talked to in so long, too.
Exactly. It was good connections.
Yeah, it was.
I think it's helped a lot of people. We've actually had a lot of people reach out and let us know that they really appreciated it.
When we would just get a random message from, we don't know who the person is, and they just give you some
good gravy.
Yeah, some good gravy. Like, hey, thank you so much. That helped me out. Someone said that it really helped them out. Someone told us, it helped my, what was it? That actually made my blood pressure go down. And so, it's funny because I think of what Ryan said yesterday. She went on a military installation for the first time since that Major Nadal Hassan shooting we got locked down for on Fort Hood.
She was like 4.
And she comes home and she's like, Dad, the military is very intense. I was like, what are you talking about? And she was like, they're like very serious. I'm like, yeah, they don't fuck around. Like, you know, because then they're going to get yelled at and, you know, people could die if they don't do their job. So what do you mean? Explain it to me. And she just starts talking about just, they're so stone cold faced and very direct, and they use like their whole hand to point. And
and it's funny.
I was like, well, does it make sense now? Like with Dad, like when you just see me, like, oh man, okay, I see why my dad's so serious sometimes. Like, it's hard when that's your foundation to shake that, no matter how much you want to shake that. And that was fun to hear from the other guys. And, you know, I don't know, everybody had a story about they were called, you know, intense, or wow, you're really intense.
Too much.
It's like, man, I'm not trying to be intense. This is me, you know. I'm sorry.
When it's good, it's good, you know, and when it's bad, it's bad.
When it's bad, it's horrible. It's awful.
And I think that's why we had talked about this in the podcast with Drew about the more serious talk. That one didn't have any alcohol involved, actually. So that was a really good, wholesome conversation. We did talk about a lot of other illegal drugs, but we weren't doing them at the time. We were just talking about it.
We're just talking about our 20s.
In fact, Drew's mom reached out to us, and I'm hoping like maybe we could get her and his dad on a podcast, because she said it would be really cool to hear from the parents' perspective of a soldier with PTSD. And I think that's a great idea. And I would also like to
we need to do that.
I want to reach out to all my military spouses and my veteran spouses of combat soldiers. I would love to have you guys on a podcast too. Tasha, if you listen, you better.
What up, dog? She's like my favorite drinking partner, man.
Fireball.
Oh my God, she's awesome.
She's cool, dude. She makes the best stuff. So yeah, so I want to have like her. I mean, there's a lot of military spouses out there that you know, that I think would have really good gravy, and maybe not make us all feel like we're so alone. And I hope, even if you know,
bro, what you said about waxing your vagina on that Fort Huachuca post. I died laughing. I was like, fuck, there's my wife, ladies and gentlemen. There's my wife. She is a fucking lady.
Another Facebook. Oh, yes, I'm a part of this Fort Huachuca Wives Club. Fort Huachuca is near where we're at. And anyway, this lady, she posted a picture of, it was like, do any other military wives relate? And it was a picture of this woman in the shower, like head to toe shaving cream.
Covered in shaving cream.
Like when your husband gets back from the deployment, you know? And so I wrote, yeah, I got my vagina waxed and the first time on my husband's first deployment. That was the last time I got waxed, 2006. It was 13 years ago.
I don't know why people would do that.
The vagina wasn't so bad. It was the taint. It was that from the two holes.
Yeah.
That is a sensitive spot. And I wanted it because I'm like, dude, if you're going to do it, do it. Get your butt crack too. Like, do it all. And I have a hairy butt crack apparently because that shit hurts so fucking
There's no way. There's absolutely no way.
It was angry. It was yelling at me and like red for like 3 days. It was like, bitch, please.
The things you women will do for us guys. And you know what? Most of the times we really don't notice the subtleties, but we just like what we get. So hey, we thank you for that. But
your service.
Some of this, thank you for your service, ladies. But man, do you see that new thing where women are I guess it's like super glue on their lip and it makes their lip swell up?
No, okay, so they're super gluing the top tip, I believe, of their lip, and they're like smushing it together like that. And so they're gluing their lip up back. So like, because I have a short upper lip, you'll see more of my teeth and my gums. But like,
pretty teeth.
Look at this. That's what my lips look like.
Okay.
DSL lips.
All right, I guess. I mean, if you want to super glue your face together, that's insane.
I mean, my lip might get super glued on your dick, and you might be really happy about that.
Whoa. I would definitely be happy about that.
It's been weird because it's like us now. I'm so used to like not being able to talk as much. I kind of just had to like be quiet for like so long.
Megan. Gigi's vagina.
Gigi's
fucking love it. We've been saying Sammy's line like
if you guys,
at least a couple times a day.
You have to have listened to the last podcast we did with Sammy, Ryan's interpreter. He was drunk. Obviously, he knows my name is not Megan, but he was drunk. So he goes, Megan. Gigi is vagina.
Well, because you kept saying Gigi and you didn't know. I didn't know what
Gigi was. I was like, hey, so what's Gigi?
Hey, you asked, bro. You found out.
I'm glad, though. Now I have a new term. I don't have to say it. I could have said when I waxed my Gigi, and then when they asked, I could say Megan. Gigi is vagina.
Oh, dude, that was a fun podcast. You know, it was fun. just giving him the floor because, as he was talking and he was explaining how for 34 years, he was oppressed by the Saddam regime.
That's crazy.
And I'm like, man, I just want to let him, because he was real worried about coming on the podcast. And, I mean, I could only imagine. He grew up in an oppressive regime, and, man, he's never had this kind of freedom. He has only been in the United States for a couple years now. So,
a few years, yeah.
Yeah, but, I mean, a couple. I mean, just very few,
he's fresh.
with him being 45 years old.
Yeah.
So it's like, man, and he just, what can I say? Man, you say whatever the fuck you want to say.
This is America.
Yeah, I pay for this.
This is my podcast. You say what the fuck you want.
Nobody pays, this for me. We pay this, you and I.
I hope people learned a lot. I learned so much. I did not know a lot about the Iraq history like that, and that it was that. I mean, I knew Saddam was bad, and I know you have said in the past, like, look, yeah, he was a terrible person, but less people died when he was a dictator, and they had their shit together, and then we kind of went in and blew it up. And a lot of Iraqis even have said that too, like that we kind of just went in there and fucked it all up.
And it was crazy because when we were there in 2005 and 2006, we would go into houses and we would have people, look well educated, dress nice, and they were like, "We don't want you here. You need to leave. This is our country." And okay, hey, I get that, but you didn't do anything, and you're free now because of us. And hey, this country's put a lot of money and resources into this, so I'm sure we're going to get something on the back end of this. But now we did leave, and we gave it over to the Iraqi army and the Iraqi police, and
lost it.
ISIS took over and took control. Oh, Mosul. I watched that Vice documentary. Man, it was sad. Yeah. It made me cry. Because I know that place. Like, I knew those buildings, and now there would just be everything. It was literal rubble.
It was
literal rubble. And then they have to, now it's the citizens of Mosul that have to go and just pick all this up. And so what they're finding is underneath this rubble, they're finding tons of munitions.
Oh.
And I'm like, man, this is now where these kids are growing up. I think of that girl that I have that picture of, and she's jumping on her dad's BMW.
Oh, yeah.
And just denting the shit out of him.
You have a video of it.
Come here. Like, you better get off that. Your dad's going to whoop the dog shit out of you.
She's like 3-4 years old.
Oh, she was so cute,
She loved the attention, and she's like on this nice-ass car jumping around.
Just denting it up.
But that was what's crazy. So Sammy even had said that he thought that, like, I guess if, like, he was taught in school, like, you're given free education, you're given all this free health care, you're given all this stuff, but you're told what you have to, what to learn, right? You're told all this stuff.
Yeah.
What you have to go to school for. He had said that they were taught that Jewish people were basically the product of pigs and dogs or pigs and something.
I don't know.
And like he literally, up until he said 2003 or something, believed that. And
I thought of Borat.
Yeah. And I was just like, dude, that is it though. Like we're walking into this country. I didn't know that. I didn't know that's what they believed. I had no idea. So it was really cool. And if you guys didn't
funded, man,
check that out. It was a 2.5 hour long podcast. It's super educational. If you are, I mean, we're still in a war, so the only thing we can do is talk to the survivors of it and talk to the people that actually lived there through these wars and get their opinions on it, because he is an American citizen now, and I was happy to give him this platform to talk and get to express his First Amendment right to talk about what he wants. And
he exercised the shit out of that First Amendment right.
And
he flexed it. I loved it.
And I hope people check themselves too. Like, I know we can all be racist. We can be. But just remember, just because somebody's a different nationality doesn't mean that they didn't serve this country as well. Just remember that. We actually also, yesterday when we went to the museums on Fort Huachuca.
When you said racist, I was thinking of Orange is the New Black. When they talked about formal and what was the other one?
It was formal and casual racism.
Casual. Everyone can be casually racist.
You can be casually racist.
And everybody knows what I'm talking about, hopefully. If not, I guess I'm all alone. But anyways, formal racism, absolutely just atrocious.
That's with the ER on it, right? When you're being really racist.
No, just like casually racist, like white men can't jump.
Okay,
you know what I mean?
Like
that's
white
not
people can't
real
dance. We know that's not
formal
totally
racism.
True. Right.
Yeah, it's the stereotype.
It's the stereotype,
and it's funny.
And we laugh about it, and it's funny. It's just, it always takes that one person, though.
That's a good movie, too, White Men Can't Jump. Sorry, I interrupted you, though.
Dude, oh my God.
Whoa,
speaking of Woody Harrelson, Zombieland 2 is coming out in October. I'm so excited.
I've seen that one. The first one, like, I don't know how many times.
1 million.
Bill
how many years has it been?
Murray. I swear to God, if I saw Woody Harrelson, that would be me, though. Woody fucking Harrelson.
I would ask him if he wanted to play Big Chief.
Oh, fucking. Oh, what was that cowboy way?
Pale-faced woman. Make a big chief very happy.
Oh, that's awesome. I forgot about that.
I love him.
So anyways, what were you saying, though? I interrupted you.
Oh, yeah, when we were at Fort Huachuca yesterday, we got to learn about, like, the Buffalo Soldiers and stuff, and even the black women of the Army doing all the medical stuff, and you actually don't learn about that, and the kids were like, oh, my gosh, I didn't know that we had such a large population of black soldiers, and they didn't know that they weren't allowed with white soldiers back then. So
John Leguizamo taught me on his new stand-up. I love his stand-up because he gives you like an actual Broadway performance.
Yeah.
But I think it was 75,000 Latina Americans fought in.
What?
I think it was Revolutionary War. And I'm like, I never fucking knew that. Like, why isn't this? That's
the problem, though. Like, we have all these months that we're supposed to be like celebrating, but like we don't really learn anything new about them. Like I didn't know all about Buffalo Soldiers.
I honestly don't know what a Buffalo Soldier is. I like the song.
They're black soldiers.
They
were called the Buffalo Soldier, and they were actually the Buffalo Soldier unit. Like, that's what they were at Fort Huachuca. It was here.
Oh, no way.
Yeah,
Are you serious?
Yeah. So the museum we went to, it actually had this whole separate piece dedicated to the black soldiers that were not included in the white soldier population for whatever reason.
I want to go to that African American museum that they just built, I think last year or 2 years ago, and finished it.
Which one?
It has everything to do with, Africans that were brought over here. And so then going through slavery and civil rights. Shoot. I'm gonna say I think Washington, D.C., but I could be 100% wrong on that.
Dude, that'd be cool to go see.
Yeah, I like the one in New Orleans, the World War II Museum.
Oh, I don't think I went to that.
Man, I went to that one like 3 times. That
really?
Was great. Yeah. Oh, it's awesome. Oh, on the ground, like on the bricks, they have like Private John Smith on there or something. Yeah, like leading up to the museum.
Oh, that's cool.
They have huge, relics and pieces just hanging, like airplanes, like they're dogfighting, but they just have them hanging on, little cable wires or whatever.
Dude, I've never looked for my grandfather's name or your grandfather's name on any of those things, like the World War II stuff. We should look next time.
What do you mean?
Like, isn't on that memorial wall, don't they have like everybody's name that?
Oh, I don't know about that. I don't know if
it's
it
just
was
the ones
like
that died in war,
maybe
actually.
It could have been that. It could have been just people that maybe they did a call to action, like, hey, send us, your grandfather, grandmother's name, and we'll put it on here for them. I don't know.
Oh, we kind of got off subject. But basically, I hope you guys listened to all those podcasts because we had a blast. And it was a little off topic. It was a little bit more fun, a little different than what we normally do. And I don't know if you guys know this, but this is going to be our 20th podcast.
What?
We started last October, and we've done more than one a month, but even though they've been kind of gappy, we've been more consistent lately. We just have to kind of get motivated. You guys know how it goes. I want to make sure we give you guys good content.
Making, running the websites.
Reselling and all
reselling and shopping. And I like shopping more than I like selling, though.
I love it. Oh, yeah, so we haven't even talked about what we're doing now, actually.
No, we haven't.
So all of these ideas that we've had have finally, eventually, when we were we were doing our fireworks stand in Tucson, we decided to start doing some vintage reselling. We hit up Goodwill, we did all this stuff, started looking at clothes and getting some inventory of single stitch, things that we liked, things that I couldn't afford to wear in school, like Tommy Hilfiger, Ralph Lauren, all these things that used to be like $40 a t-shirt. Now they're like $7 a t-shirt. It's ridiculous. And we get to rotate our wardrobe. The kids get new clothes.
That's so fun.
We get to always have something new and then turn around and sell it. And, and we've been making money on it, and it's been working, and we've been happy. We enjoy going and shopping, and I finally got Ryan enjoying shopping at Goodwill. So it's been fun. And then we jumped into actually picking cool antiques.
Man, how we did that.
How did that come about?
So again, kind of the talking with the manufacturers overseas is actually how we ended up picking close by to home. What was it? That's when I got into the motorized bicycles, and we found a bicycle on OfferUp, one of those apps, and went to pick it up, and they were moving, and this house was gorgeous. It's in the historical district, I guess, of Bisbee, Arizona. And Morgan just, hey, can we look around, or are you selling anything that, are you wanting to get rid of anything? They're like, yeah, actually, we're going to have a yard sale in like a week.
Yes.
Freaking awesome. So we went in there, and that's where we found the cans.
The soda cans, the valve, this old newspaper. We found a lot. The 2 wheelbarrows, the Douglas crate. Everything was like 1940s, 1950s, 60s, 30s. It was an awesome first pick.
Fun fact. So, because I'm an amateur restorist, I guess, of antiques. Yeah. So don't use alcohol on metal cans.
You'll take the wording off.
I mean, I was afraid I was going to scrub this can and like cave it in. So I was like, well, I'll use some alcohol. I use that to clean things, and it works great. Yes, it does. It works so good. It will take off your advertising.
Oh, my God.
So note to self, don't do that.
And so since then, we kind of discovered that if we found things that were interesting to us, they spoke to us. We just couldn't stop looking at it. We couldn't stop, thinking about it.
Something talked to you.
Something was talking to you, and you take it, and then you do research on it. And we actually do a little bit of research while we're doing it. We'll kind of jump on and be like, type in some keywords on Google, do a quick search, and see what kind of prices we can get. And then we'll think, okay, if I can get this for no more than this price, I'll buy it. If it's more, I'm not.
Yeah, so then we start doing our numbers.
Yes.
Same thing like with the DTS.
Yes,
just run your numbers.
Are you going to make
How
money?
much did you buy this for? How much do you think you can sell this for? Have your wish, want, walk prices. I think we've talked about that on the podcast before. So run your numbers. Know your margins. Are you going to, 2x your money, 3x your money, 4x your money?
And we always go into it with big expectations. We always go with usually like the higher price, because a lot of times we will get that because that's the highest price. It's in the best shape.
That, or people negotiate. Bring it down some.
And that's something too I noticed. Something that helped us get started with this was when we decided to downsize and minimalize and move into the bus and do all this downsizing lifestyle stuff.
It's the pallet business.
It was the pallet business, and it was literally just selling everything and fixing things and selling things. But this time, we got to pick what we wanted, because we said, if we can't sell it, I'll keep it.
Yeah.
But I found that I only want to hold it for a little while. I only want it for a couple days, and then I'm like, okay, I'm ready to get rid of it. And I think that's kind of the important thing, is that, don't get stuck being a hoarder and keeping all your stuff. That's something big. You have to work on your emotional attachments to things. I have this Venus de Milo statue that I picked.
It's awesome. It's
Goddess
beautiful,
of Love, or Aphrodite, whichever one. And I like it. So I have my price at like $125, because that is what an average price of it is. It's a higher price. But I love it. It's in great shape. It's gorgeous. And I'm going to have it in the bus for a little while.
And if you want to know if things are moving, there's the
tools.
settings on eBay.
Yes.
And it'll tell you what things actually sold for.
Yep.
So it doesn't matter. Sure, anybody can put whatever on there. We had that vase for like $800, because hey, if there's someone crazy that's like, you know what, I've been looking for this, like, I'll pay you $800, sweet.
Yeah.
But then we'll start knocking prices down, and eventually, so we can move it.
Yep.
But yeah, just know your price. And as long as you know your numbers, I that book helped me out a lot in negotiating.
Which one?
Never Split the Difference.
Good, yeah.
And to where I used to think of negotiations as, like Mortal Kombat. Now it's just discovering and talking, asking questions. And that's how we actually got the valve sold.
Okay, yeah.
Between, negotiating with these manufacturers and learning to negotiate, internationally with people that aren't American, and then also with the book, Never Split the Difference. Those two things helped us sell that valve.
Yeah, it did. You want to tell them about the valve that we found? It was actually at the first pick we ever did in Bisbee.
I guess we can do that one. You know what? I guess we'll give them the podcasters the inside scoop before we do that video.
Let them know what's going on.
So here's how this went. Morgan actually found this valve, and we paid like $25 for it.
Yeah, so that's the other thing too. We found that bundling deals together is better than doing it individual prices usually. So if we're getting a bunch of stuff, we'll just put it in a pile, and then we'll give them a bundle price, and so you can end up making
because
more money
now
that
they
way.
know, hey, I get to at least make room for this
All
much
of
stuff,
this,
and
yes.
I'm getting some more money. So
Right.
bundling helps out a lot.
Because you got to remember, like Ryan just said, with the discovery phase, we discovered they were moving. They need to get rid of stuff. They don't want to pack it. So the more stuff we took, yeah, but you mentioned it. The more stuff we took, they were happy just to be making some money off of. And yeah, so anyway, that's just to add on. But go ahead. So yeah,
and never
we found
give the first price either. Let someone else throw that.
Let them do that.
Yeah,
let
because
them
you
see what
might
it's
throw
worth.
like way higher.
Yeah.
And, you know, they might have just been like, man, I was going to let that go for $5. This guy's crazy.
And you could be like, what were you thinking? Answer a question with a question. Well, what price were you thinking? What's the lowest you think you can go? Like, think of a few different ways to ask the question, and they'll give you an answer.
So Morgan finds this valve. We get it home, and it's just a really cool valve. Like, the packing grease is still in this from when they originally packed this box, and it has the original box with like a piece of what is that, molasses. It looks like dried on the top. So
it wasn't great shape. It has a tiny piece of molasses on it.
So we found and ours was a 1.5 inch globe valve. The 2-inch ball valve or globe valve on eBay of the same manufacturer, Walworth, was going for about $800. So I was like, okay, hey, there's some money in this valve. But again, that's what this person's pricing it for.
Right.
It doesn't mean we were going to get anything close. And I thought maybe, all right, $400 for this valve, maybe. So, what was it? I could not find any information. I found like this old piece of advertising online from back in like the 1800s. And it talked about that valve, but that's not how old that valve is. You can tell just by the look in the advertising.
Yeah.
So as like a Hail Mary pass, after a couple days of trying to figure this out and what it is, how much a collector would pay for it, I found Walworth, their website, their home website, and I saw on there they are one of the largest and oldest companies in the world. So I'm like, okay, you know what? Let me just hit someone up on here. And so I found the International Sales Manager's email address. And as the Hail Mary passed, I just hit the guy up and asked him a couple questions. I gave him the history of how we found this. I told him that, we would like to find a price that a collector would pay for this. Can I get some history on it? Just tell me something. I really didn't. I expected this to go in, someone see it and just throw it in the trash like, this is a scam. And I also sent pictures of the valve. And the guy contacts me, I think it was like the next day, and asked me, how much will you sell that for? We'll buy it. And I don't want to put the price out first, so I asked him, well, how much would you pay for it? The guy goes, $100. And I'm like, okay, cool. A lot of people, I need to talk more about people being offended in negotiations too. Remind me of that, please.
Yes, okay.
Most people would be offended by that, like, oh my God. But again, I paid $25 for this thing. Remember, $25. That's it. And they're offering $100. That's great. All day, every day. That's a 400, X on my money.
Absolutely.
But because I knew I'd seen that other valve for $800, I figured, hey, let's have some fun now. This is where the negotiations begin. I came up with so his anchor price was $100. My anchor point was $1,200. Again, he didn't,
why not?
Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
I don't know what can happen.
Just ask.
He writes back the next day, please don't sell this valve. We will get back with you.
We're going to talk to the owners.
We're going to talk to the owners.
Yeah.
That's what it was. We're going to talk to the board or whatever it was. And so I was like, holy shit, there's no way. Well, he writes back the next day after that. So now we're only like day 3 or 4 of negotiating this. And he says, we will pay $1,000 for this valve. And now I'm like, man, this is sweet. I can't believe it. This worked out. Just asking questions and going back and forth. But I thought, no way will we ever get paid for this valve. Like, I'll believe this. I'm not going to count this chicken before it's hatched.
We were excited, but we didn't want to share
excited.
too much because we're like, I don't want to look like an idiot.
Yeah. So
let's see if this pans out.
We go, and that's the day that we made that post of saying, hey, we're going to ship this. We didn't ship it that day. We had to go get estimates for this guy.
Because it's going to Mexico. We had no idea what that was like.
Yeah, shipping
and apparently you can't do it with USPS. You have to go to UPS, and it's crazy. So I forgot where I was going. You going to stop interrupting me? I'm sorry.
What was I saying?
So you were basically saying that was the day we made the video, was whenever we didn't want to spread too much about.
I forgot.
Okay. But anyway, so we ended up doing like a 4X on our money on this valve. Like, It's crazy. And the day that we made that video, we were actually just going around. We were getting prices. We had to see like what we can actually sell this valve for.
Okay, I remember now. So yeah, that was the day that we were getting the estimates for it. It cost like $137 to ship it.
That's right.
And so I contacted the guy. Hey, here's your shipping options. This is what we can do. And he said, yeah, let's do it. So he wired the money into our account. I said, as soon as the money hits my account, we'll ship it out that day. It hit. We shipped it. And now we thought we were done with this. And I thought, man, it's been, I don't know, like a week and a half, I feel like. It should have got to the guy by now. So just on a whim, I go and check the tracking number, and I see that it is held up in Mexican customs right now because I have to pay some government or somebody has to pay $54 basically in taxes to the government. And so I contacted the guy. Hey, just letting you know, your valve's stuck here. They told me they're going to try to deliver it one time, and you can pay for the charges. I don't hear anything back. And then the UPS guy calls me, and he's like, hey, your valve got rejected. What is it? Your valve got rejected. You have till the 24th to claim it. If you don't, then they're just going to throw this valve away. So I hit the guy up that bought the, purchased the valve. Hey, letting you know, now it's at the UPS center, in your city. You have to go there now. They're not going to drop it off anymore, and you're going to have to pay those fees. So he just hit me back. No, we'll get it. Don't worry about it. So he still hasn't gone. He still hasn't picked it up. He has till the 24th. So,
really?
I mean,
Did
but
you
either
look?
which way, it's going to come back to us. So, because I told the UPS guy, just, hey, no matter what,
Yeah.
the 24th, send it this way. I'll pay for the fees to get it back. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, we'll
So,
sell it again.
I mean,
It's almost there.
yeah.
They made a little trip to Mexico.
So it's cool because that is going into a museum.
I
So,
love that. That is the coolest part of this whole story. We were able to find its home. We were able to get it back home. It would have just sat in that garage for
Yeah.
years, forever, maybe in a box that they packed away and never seen. But now all these people are going to get to enjoy it and the
Yeah.
history of this.
That's pretty cool, man. So we found something that is going to go into a museum when they pick it up, I guess.
Oh, so to add to that, tell them about the story you have about the notary seal that we found and connecting that back to the owner.
Oh, yeah.
was
So
cool.
we found a notary seal. I was trying to think of the gentleman's name, but it's a beautiful little seal from Iowa. And I actually tracked down I think it's the
Great
Granddaughter?
Yeah.
or the
something.
great granddaughter of this gentleman. And anyways, I hit her up. Hey, I have this, and if you want, I would love to give you first, stabs at purchasing this. Never heard back from her.
Yeah, I requested her on Facebook and sent her a message. Like, maybe she thinks I'm some weirdo. She'll be like, "Not today, ISIS," or
Not
something.
today.
I don't know this person.
You're not getting me.
Well,
So
we tried.
okay, people getting offended in negotiations.
Yes, that
Okay,
was the next thing.
so it's pretty funny because so we have 4 badass motor kits coming for our bicycles. Okay, and there was a guy on OfferUp. He has a Murray. He just calls it a vintage Murray. Okay, Murray is like the Huffy of bikes in Walmart today, and a lot of us, our age, they're gonna understand. They're gonna remember those Murray bikes. Okay,
Right.
that's what there was in Walmart at the time. So it's like a lower end bike.
Sure.
So the guy has it up for like 150, and I just want to put this badass motor on it, and that's it. It doesn't have any kind of special attachments to me. So I offer the guy a price, and he didn't like it. And I was like, okay, no big deal. But you could tell he got real offended by this. So I'm like, okay, maybe I'll just, explain my position to him, and then we can work something out.
Yeah.
And because this bike, by the way, has been on the market for 4 months, and he hasn't moved it. And he had it up, some price earlier, and you could just see how he's continued to knock this price down. So I figured, hey, here's his lifeline. I can liquidate it for him. He can move on and restock his inventory because he sells a lot of bikes.
Yeah.
So anyways, whenever I try to explain my position to him, and even came up on my price a little bit to where that was my bottom, that was my walk. I was going to walk
Yeah.
after that point. The guy just writes back, "Wow." So I just said, question mark.
We're
But I
both
was thinking,
confused.
and then I think he blocked me.
Oh my God.
Because I was just like, this guy right here, he had an opportunity to liquidate his item that's been on the market for 4 months, and instead of saying, hey, yes, this is where that dance comes into play,
counteroffer.
he looks at that as like Mortal Kombat,
Yeah.
And so I've just learned the more you can tell somebody who's good, who is who has negotiated a couple deals or items or increases, price decreases, whatever, because they're not going to get as offended. And if they're all in their emotions already just by someone saying, hey, and I even told him, I said, listen, I would rather shop with somebody local and someone local makes some money than me just go straight to Walmart and go pick up 2 brand new bikes. Because even in the 80s, it was still all recycled steel anyways.
Right,
so, I mean, that shit started in 1940. So I'm like, we got the same steel in this new bike, this new Huffy, as your little Murray from the 80s or whenever it was.
Yeah.
But he just completely shut down and didn't want to communicate anymore. We have had people give us like disgustingly low prices
for $100 item, like
that $100
$10.
Manchester United jersey. Someone offered us like $5 on it. We just sold that for $100, or $85.
Yep.
And again, we didn't get mad.
No,
it was just, oh, okay, so at least they want to throw something down.
Right
now, I know what I can walk away. Let this go for. So let me just see if I can get them to there. And if I can't, then, hey, there's just no deal to be had. There's no harm, no foul.
Right.
And, just people need to stop being so sensitive when it comes to negotiations, because if someone's interested in it, keep them on the hook. Start asking questions. Then try to find a way to connect them back to why they want this. To so when you're trying to, or they're trying to continue to bring you down, find what connected them. Why did they need this piece? That's what I did with that guy that bought our trailer. He right off the bat, my question was, hey, what are you going to use this for? He starts telling me about his son's a diesel mechanic, and they're always finding just cool, vehicles that they like to work on, and then they flip them.
It's a car hauler too, so it was perfect for what they needed it for.
So, just through talking with the guy, and right before I, stated my price again, I added in man, this trailer's going to, work great for you and your son picking these things up. I used to haul this truck on it right here, and his eyes got all big, and I knew I had him right there. That's the fun part of the game. It's not getting somebody. It's just who could dance that dance better. And when I go against people that dance this dance better, they win. It's just, but I don't take it as like, they got me. It's a, fuck, how did they do that? So I'm always trying to work on the skill. And some people, they just want to shut down my way, the highway. And I guess it's one way to do it.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, I'm guilty of getting offended, and I think it's when you have like an emotional attachment to an item, and like someone's like, "I'll give you $5," and that thing's worth like $50. You're like, "Oh my god! Like, get this fucking out of my face!" Like, and you get all like,
you get so butthurt. It's awesome.
I stopped. I'm not as butthurt, but anyway. So, I just had to remember, like, dude. First off, they're trying to get a good deal.
Yeah.
Secondly, I never planned on selling anything full price. I want to give our people a good deal because they'll keep coming back. I don't want to put top dollar. Here's the thing, though. It is worth that price to somebody. When we were selling our brown couch, it was like how much did we pay for that fucking couch? $5,000?
$5,000. Yeah, I think $5,000.
It was a huge sectional brown leather couch. Gorgeous, gorgeous.
But it was like super ultra wide.
So wide, and it was perfect.
It was awesome.
The corner was like the best spot. Anyway.
Yeah, it was.
So we put it up on Craigslist everywhere when we were trying to downsize, and everybody was like, y'all aren't, and I put it up for $3,000, and they was like, y'all aren't going to get $3,000 for that. And I'm like,
yeah, people laughed
yeah,
at us.
I will. Like, I just have to be patient. That's all. Everybody said I wouldn't get $10,000 for the charger. Like, if you know what it's worth, like, stick with it. It's going to be worth that to somebody. Somebody's going to see it and know it's a good deal. But don't be scared to go down a little. And that's why it's important to have your wish, want, walk. Really, like, because sometimes I'll be like, numbers. Like, we had this Harley Davidson sweatshirt, right? And it was like, I know that thing sells for $45. I think I picked it up. Really
easy
cheap.
It sells, as long as you want to
really
sit on
cheap.
it for a little while.
So we sat on it for a couple of weeks, and we had a lot of interest in it. Never could get really above $30.
I think 2 weeks. It was only 2 weeks, yeah.
Okay. And then somebody came in, and they're like 30, and we're like, or 25, and then
20.
we countered 35, and then they countered 30, and then we countered 35, and then they picked it up for 35. Don't be scared to go down, because look back at your numbers, because I have a notebook where I keep everything that we bring in the house, the numbers. We also do the sizes. We'll measure the T-shirts. We'll measure the statues. We put all the measurements with that stuff. And then I have another book set up for whenever we sell it, how we sold it, the fees. That way we can kind of keep track of what platforms are working better for certain items and the fees and stuff. So, I mean, it's a legit in and out business, and I mean, we're staying busy.
And I think you made a 6X on that.
No, we did.
You
and
made
that's the
6 times
thing.
your
I
money
had
on
to
that
go
shirt.
back and not be greedy and be like, well, I know I can get 45 for that. Yeah, 45. But you could move it today and go shop with that money you just made and get some more, and get another Harley Davidson sweater. That's one thing. Harley Davidson stuff seems to sell. It's hit or miss if it's a cool shirt.
Yeah.
It just depends. Like it has to be cool or bedazzled or something.
A lot of cool rhinestones or a beautiful print.
Yeah.
Those
but things do move, and the things that we can't get to move, we end up giving to people.
And don't be afraid to walk away from somebody's price. And it's okay to just say, you know what, hey, I'm at my limit. There's no way I would have let that thing go for $20 because it wouldn't have been worth the time that we spent for the pictures, the going to find and shop it, shop for it or run the ad. That stuff takes a lot of time. Right. So make sure you're paying yourself as well. So don't just, if you paid $5 for it, be like, well, I'll make $10 off of that. Now I made a 2X on my money. Yeah, but you only paid yourself, $5 for your work. And you're worth more than that.
Right. And if you're picking things that you like, it's not going to feel like work. And that's the important thing. You have to find something that you like to do. I really enjoy going to the bric-a-brac section and looking through all the statues and the.
You used to tease me about going there because you were like, it's got a break, we can't get it, and now you are like a fiend. I think because of my Tiffany find, you're trying to outdo me and find something cooler, but you're not going to do it.
That decanter.
I found that Indian head bust. That actually went to somebody in Killeen, Texas, didn't it? So.
Yeah, I think so. I think it did, and it was kind of crazy because some of the things that we sell are going to near our hometowns or near places we have or friends that we live. It's kind of weird.
It's fun to see.
It's fun to see where it's going. Yeah. And we always do a private message, and we just got our business cards made. I'm so excited. Little Ryan helped me develop those. She got on. And so every time you buy from us, you'll get a business card. You get a private note that I write. Make it personal.
Because if I wrote it, you couldn't understand it.
Your handwriting has gotten better. He just writes in all caps.
I just do all caps.
So it's like he's yelling at you. Yeah. So you might, if you're sensitive, you might not like his letters. He'll be like,
why is he yelling at me?
Thank you so much for buying this shirt. Have a great day.
I don't know, it's just
at least you use punctuation now, though. That's important.
I saw someone do that when I was a kid, and I just thought it was cool that they wrote in all caps. There was no reason for me to do it, and that, I swear to God, that's where I started that. I was like, I want to do that too, and I actually had to relearn how to write all caps. No, dude, I can't write little letters now. It looks like some 3-year-old with a Crayola trying to learn their letters for the first time.
It's crazy, dude.
It's pretty silly.
But yeah, so. That's kind of, I guess I kind of just wanted to update everybody on what we were doing. If you follow our social media, you know. Oh man, let me tell y'all this story.
Oh man.
If y'all didn't watch this. I fucking threw up on Facebook Live the other day.
Every time you go to a carnival, you also ripped your pants and got 3rd-degree burns on your ass cheeks. You remember that?
Yeah. I actually talked about that on my live video, and one of them I did. So we'll start with that one. We went to a carnival. Little Ryan was 2 or 3 years old when we lived in Texas. It was a Crabtree Carnival, actually, Crabtree Amusements. Anyway, we go on the potato sack slide. Well, I had some cloth shorts on. The potato sack
came out. It's 110 outside on an aluminum slide.
And the potato sack came out from underneath my butt while I was sliding down, and it burned a hole in my cloth shorts and also my butt crack. And I had 3rd-degree burns in my butt crack. And I didn't know that I had a hole in my pants. So when I stood up, I felt this wind, and my butt was facing that carny, and the carny was all laughing and looking at me, smiling, all with his no teeth. Anyway, and so then I had a sweater, or somebody had a sweater, and I wrapped it around my waist, and then we went home. And then Ryan had to rub burn ointment on my butt crack and wipe my ass for a week or something, because I didn't want to wipe my butt and rub the scab because it was healing. So Ryan was spreading my butt cheeks and wiping my butt when I would take a shit. But he had also, and that was actually before I had to wipe your ass.
Mm-hmm.
I won't wipe my own ass. Like a big daddy.
That's the weirdest feeling in the world. If you're married and you've had to do that, it's so
good
on
weird.
You. Way to do that.
It feels weird when somebody else wipes your butt. And I always wanted to make sure it
feel like a fucking kid, man.
It was did you get it good though? Because if it's itchy, I'm gonna be pissed. Do you have a baby wipe we can maybe try?
All right, what else were we talking about?
So the next thing yesterday or the other day we went to the carnival. I used to ride rides all the time, dude. I used to tear them bitches up. Big Ryan does not like carnival rides. He thinks he's gonna die, which it totally happens. People get decapitated and things.
Watch World Star. There are people. There was like one of those ones that goes upside down, and it just literally fell off the track.
Oh my god!
And then broke everyone's neck and crushed their spines. I'm like, fuck that.
So
no, I'm good.
I went with the kids to the carnival, and we got on some rides. We got on this one ride together, and we spun around, and I usually just do one ride, and I'm done, because I could just get so nauseous
One
now.
and done. That's what I always say.
One and done. So that's a Zombieland reference, if you don't know. So anyway, so the kids are spinning it. They're going fucking crazy. I'm on Facebook Live. It's called Tip Top is the ride. I think the second video I did.
It's fun watching your face change, too.
Spinning. They're fucking going crazy. And I'm like, okay, this is okay. And the carnie's like, hey, this is cool. There's nobody in line. We're going to let this ride go for 8 minutes. And you'll watch me the whole time. And I really wasn't that bad. I was a little nauseous towards the end. And I was like, okay, I'll just sit out a ride. And then Brian really wanted to ride the tornado. So I was like, okay. And it's like the scrambler, but it goes up high and tilts too. And there's a wheel that you turn. So it's not like the scramble. It's kind of like, anyway. So you turn. So anyway, we get on this ride. And I'm sitting here on Facebook Live, and Ryan starts turning this wheel, and I'm like, you have to stop turning that wheel. You can't turn this wheel anymore, dude. And then I flip the camera to her because I'm about to vomit. I'm talking it out. You hear everything I'm saying, and I'm like, oh, bro, like, I feel the spit, like, it's bad. I burped the first time. I don't think you heard it because my notifications went off at the same time. The second time, I swallowed it when it came up because I was like, oh, my God, I don't want to be that person that pukes, and there's some kids on like one down from us, so I'm like, great. And then they actually felt bad, and I showed that on my video. I'm like, look, this kid's gonna puke too. Anyway, so I ended up throwing up. It was like red juice. It was blueberries. I found out later it was blueberries. Anyway, watch the video. It's funny. And you don't see me throw up. You just see Ryan's face. She's completely embarrassed and shocked. And she's like covering her face like, oh my God, this is the most disgusting thing I've ever seen. And I told you to stop doing that. And then I let them go. And then we went on the tilt-a-whirl after that, amazingly. And then we had to stop spinning it towards the end because I couldn't handle it. So that was the funny thing that happened to me. One of the most embarrassing things was vomiting. I don't think many people saw it, but Facebook heard it. So that's real life. We promised to share everything.
I guess.
So fun times, though, for sure. But so that's what we've been doing. And if you guys have Poshmark, I know y'all probably heard our ads. We did do some new ads for our Talking Chitty. If you guys have a business that you want to advertise, we can do ads. We do charge monthly for that, depending on how many episodes we put out. So we are opening our business. And if you have a product you want to sell, contact me, because I do have room on my website to do that. And all I have to do is send you the order when somebody orders. So we have all kinds of cool stuff. So reach out. I'm all about collaboration. I'm all about helping other people and other small businesses. And that's actually why I'm excited too, because we're going to be having the people that we have been working with on these motorized bicycles, the engines.
Matt and Jacqueline.
Yeah.
I don't want to try to say their last name, but it is Bzura. I don't know if the B is silent.
Zurak.
Zura?
I bet you B is silent. Anyway, we're going to have them on the podcast. We're going to talk about the motorized bikes. We kind of feel like that's a cool,
They are a cool family. It's a family-ran business.
Nice.
And, again, I just contacted that guy. Instead of just buying through his website, I contacted him. I knew we were going to purchase 4 engines. And so, again, hey, is there any kind of deal or discount you can give me? And anyways, that opened that guy up to, him and I now emailing back and forth. Really great family. We're going to have them on. They're going to talk about their business. And, yeah.
I'm excited about that. We'll be getting their engines in this week, and we wanted to kind of mess around with them before we had them on, just so we sounded knowledgeable whenever we talked to them. I don't want to sound like a dumbass. But definitely tune in for that, because I think with the economy and everything that's going on, people might be looking for alternatives to getting to work or doing stuff. And
when fuel prices, go back to $100 a barrel.
Yeah, exactly.
These things get you like 130 miles to the gallon.
Oh my God. And it's a 1 gallon tank.
No, they mostly come with half a gallon, but you can get an aftermarket 1 gallon tank for sure.
Dude, these things look cool, and you put them on. We found the beach cruisers, I guess, is what we're doing mostly, and we're actually working on one with a totally different engine, not the same one.
So let me tell you about this one, okay?
Yeah.
We've been putting it together, I think, 3 weeks now.
Oh my God.
And so here's the thing, I don't know yet because we haven't got to start it or anything, but just looking at it, I mean, it looks like a decent little engine, okay? But the kit is a cheaper kit. So you have like pot metal brackets and, just they don't give you, extra bolts or give you extra length in the threaded rods.
Because not every frame is the same.
But they give you a shit ton of washers.
Yeah, they do.
I mean, they just look like they took a handful of washers and threw it in a bag and said, there you go in case you need them. So they do give you a lot of washers. But everything is like class 4.8. So what we've been doing with this little, cheaper kit, we upgraded the threading rods to class 8.8.
Right.
We have added what is that called for the carburetor? The offset intake. The carburetor kept smacking on the, what is it called? The down post?
Yeah.
Of the bicycle.
Post.
It's like the back post
where
on
the
your
seat
bike.
belongs, yeah.
And we've had to get a different mounting brackets for this. Oh my God, the worst thing on this is trying to do the sprocket that comes with the kit.
Ugh.
It's 9 holes, and you have to get this as straight as you can. But again, you got 9 holes, and I've done a lot with tires, taking them on and off, doing the star patterns and whatnot. But man, I could not for the life of me get this. So eventually, just had to take a tape measure and just start screwing it in. A little bit till we stopped seeing all the wiggle room in the sprocket. Because the more side-to-side movement it has, you can throw your chain, snap a chain, whatever. So we bought a sprocket adapter. So we just keep buying things and learning more about this bike and testing it out. So, and then when we're done with it, it's a way better bike than what it was. It'll have an upgraded carb. We actually manufactured and made our own mounting bracket.
Yeah, Ryan did.
Out of, I think, 3/8 flat bar steel.
From the bus, the project that we had leftovers.
Because the U-bolt that they gave us didn't fit our downpost.
Yeah.
So we had to go buy a new U-bolt, and so we've customized the mounting on it to make it, as vibration-free as we can. People do not recommend to put any kind of rubber between the frame because you can actually break your frame, I guess.
Really?
Or start snapping your bolts. So your mounting studs for your engine. And so anyways, yeah, we have just been learning so much. So why I say all this is, going back to Matt, he texted me, the guy, and it's Bicycle Motorworks. That's his company.
Okay, Bicycle Motor. I'll put that in the title.
Yeah, Bicycle Motorworks.
Description.
Anyways, he writes me this email, and he goes, hey, just so you know, I added a bigger U-bolt, a larger U-bolt, a larger bracket, mounting bracket. I don't know, he threw in a couple extra cool things, more cable and this, that, and the other. So everything he even threw an offset intake into this thing.
Oh, yeah.
So everything that we've had to go buy is coming with this kit, minus the CNC sprocket adapter.
Yeah.
But, so, and again, I may or may not, depends on what his bolts are. If he has the grade 8 bolts, then sure, or threaded rod, then I'll use his. If not, I'll use the stuff that we have.
Yep.
So
basically, we're using this first bike, and it's a Trek frame, so it's not even the same bike that we're doing on these other ones. But we're kind of using this one as our guinea pig, and then once we get it running, we'll probably just end up selling it to somebody. We have that work camping gig coming up for the pumpkins and the trees and stuff, and I feel like maybe we could sell it there.
Maybe we should do a raffle.
That might be fun. Ooh, and maybe do it like the Diesel Brothers do, have people buy stuff from the website and you automatically get entered. Or you mean like a raffle locally?
Mm-hmm.
That might be
fun.
Just set it up. $20 or a ticket or something. That would be kind of cool. Or you get 4 entries.
I was thinking $20 a ticket.
You get 4 entries, like $5, but 20 is the minimum or something. We'll figure something out.
Yeah, but because what do we have? I mean, a good couple thousand people that walk in and out of that tent, during those times. So I just figured if we had it out front and people were like, hey, I'm interested in that. Cool, $20 a raffle ticket.
And that's something I'm excited, too, about these bikes because we have this big diesel truck. It's the only vehicle we have other than the bus. And I hate going out and, like, just going to the post office in this truck. Like, it's so big. It's diesel. It's loud. It's huge. It's 8 feet long bed. Like, I wanted something small. Like, if I had a little crappy Honda, I would just take that. But we always like, bicycling and stuff. We do enjoy that. And this time, instead of like, Layla is a little bit slower than everybody, so it'll be nice so she can like have her motor going. But it was really like we want to add saddlebags, a basket. We want to be able to make these usable because when we do go to these lots, and actually where we're at right now, we're not that far from town. We're like 7 miles from everything, like a 15-minute drive in the truck. And even if we go 20, 30 miles an hour on these bikes, dude, that's pretty fucking good. And I'm saving a lot of money.
I got a feeling they're going to go like 40 miles an hour.
I have a feeling it's going to be awesome.
They're
and I'm really excited.
Polished.
You guys are y'all need to tune in to Facebook and YouTube and Instagram and check out because we're gonna be posting us practicing and checking these things, seeing if they work, and if you guys want to see it and maybe get a good laugh because I always fall off of things, so you'll probably see me fall. The last time we had a little motorbike.
That little 50? Yeah.
That's the thing. We had that little 50cc we got for the kids, and of course. Mom is like, I've always wanted a dirt bike ever since I was a kid. Let me ride it.
Your knees were all like
cocked
out to the side. Yeah.
I go, dude. I'm going. I'm all
Feet
confident.
on these little tiny pegs.
I know. I felt like Donkey Kong on Mario Kart. Like I was just too big.
That's what you look like. Yeah.
I was too big. Even Jim got on it. Okay, and he's like 200 pounds heavier than me.
Sure.
So we go and we're doing this.
I got on it.
I'm going fast. I didn't go fast enough on a turn. I fell, and this fall was epic.
No, you were going too fast.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't you were going not fast enough. You were like hauling
fast.
Ass on this little thing because it still would get up and go.
It went fast. And I turned and I fell. I like tore holes in my jeans. I was bleeding. I fucking was limping for 3 days. Yeah, I had rocks in my knee. It was awful. And Ryan, I was sore for a long time.
Yeah, you were. I remember that.
Oh, my God. That was during the bus build. And then we brought it around with us, and then we ended up selling it in Washington to somebody for the same price I think we bought it.
Really? I thought we sold it in Big Spring.
No, we sold it in Washington at Nino's when we were parked at Nino's house.
What?
Yeah, it was to some guy that was a mechanic. We were starting to sell. Because we had sold some stuff and then we bought
too much shit.
We did, and when we bought Ryan's easel and that's the thing too. Like I'm actually going through our storage. That's something else we did last week. We have a storage unit in Arizona that was near Phoenix. We got because we needed to downsize the toolbox and do some renovations on the bus, and we needed a place to put this stuff. So we got a little unit, paid some money every month for it. We still
had the Harley at the time, too.
Yep, we put it in there and put my couch cushions because we upgraded those. The water tanks are in there. The toolbox was in there. We found a really great deal on these Trina solar panels. They're actually up for sale on our Facebook Marketplace. But they're, how many watts?
310 watts.
310 watts. We're selling them for $200 or something like that. Because if you go online, you will see after you've added all your solar panels to your cart, check out your shipping. Then get your total that you've paid per
shipping
watt.
Shipping alone for one panel could be $200 to $300.
$400 in some cases.
Really?
And so yeah, and so if you're getting 4, I mean, I don't think it's not going to be $400. It's going to be more than that. But we ran into that issue when we were buying ours for the bus. We actually ended up going to a local solar power installer, and we bought his displays off of his wall for $1 a watt. And that was way cheaper because we didn't have to pay like $300 shipping. The batteries, however, the deep cycle batteries that we bought, there's 4 CR260s or 275s. The shipping on those was worth one battery. It was $300 for shipping, and it was 4 batteries. We needed 6.
Just a little 6-volt battery, yeah.
But we just haven't got it yet because the shipping was just redonkulous. So we just need to, if you're in an area, keep your eye out for that stuff, like the heavy things that you need to buy, because that freight shipping will get so fucking expensive.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, so we're local. We are selling those solar panels, and so we had like 27 of them. We got them for a really great deal out of Phoenix. Some guy's dad bought a warehouse full of them, and he was just selling them. So we picked them up, we threw them in storage. It's literally more than we had on our 8.8 kilowatt system for our house over in Granger. About the same, right? Isn't it
it's
the same?
8,000 kilowatts. And
we ran so much on that house. It was 2,400 square feet. So we know we can get rid of a couple. We know some people building buses and figured why not? We can get rid of them. And so anyway, we decided to, since we're doing this reselling, we needed to get our stuff closer to us because where it was at was like 2.5 hours away. And we kind of missed our tools. And for this bike project, we actually needed a few things.
Yeah.
So we rented a U-Haul one day, went up and grabbed it all. And now it's literally like 7 minutes away from us. And we can put all of our stuff in. Now our house isn't full of shit and Santa Clauses and all the stuff I found.
Yeah.
Now we have space again.
It's been nice.
Yeah, it has been. But yes,
So?
I mean, that's what we've been up to. And hopefully you guys have enjoyed all the podcasts we've done in the past. I hope that it's really helped anybody. Feel free to share it.
And if you guys have any recommendations or
if you want to be on it, if you have something cool, a cool story, a business you want to share, we will be happy to have you on. That's
I've been thinking about this guy, Wes. He has a YouTube channel. He did some time in prison, and now I just call him a motivational speaker. I love listening to his what he has to say, and I've been thinking a lot about trying to reach out and contact him and see if I can get him on the podcast. Yeah,
that would kind of be cool, just to have that kind of.
Just thought of that. Figure I'll throw that out there.
That might be fun though. I think that would be cool.
Yeah.
I say we'll try. We always reach out to people. The interviews don't always work out. We were expecting to have a few people, but I don't think we were their style. I don't think they were our tribe. I think maybe they listened to a podcast and they were like,
Fuck that.
No. We cannot be associated with that on our Instagram.
Maybe.
And that's okay. Or it just didn't work out. We just couldn't get our schedules right. So anyway, I hope everybody's having a great week. Hope everybody has a great weekend because it's going to be out on Friday.
Hope you enjoyed the podcast.
Yeah. And have an awesome, awesome day. And remember, teamwork makes the dream work.
And if you can dream it, you can build it. Thanks for listening, guys.
Thanks, guys. You can find our shenanigans online at thecrabshomestead.com and Talkin' Chitty on Facebook and Instagram. You can also follow our Schoolie Life on Facebook at Chitty Bang Schoolie and Instagram at The Crabs Homestead.
Don't forget about our Poshmark closet. We are second chancers, that is to indie chancers. We have band tees, sports jerseys and apparel, single stitch vintage shirts, Ralph Lauren and Tommy Hilfiger polos, cool kicks, antiques, and collectibles.